Hey everybody, welcome to Culinary Characters Unlocked. I'm David Page. On this episode, a chef whose two restaurants, Felt Bar Eatery and Brownstone 22, are a vital part of a dining boom in Salt Lake City. Here's Travis Herbert. Chef, how you doing? Thanks for being here.
I'm doing great, thank you.
Well, how are things in Salt Lake?
It's wonderful. Salt Lake is going crazy right now, especially in the culinary side.
Yeah, for years, it's not a place you'd have thought of as a culinary magnet, but increasingly, the food scene there seems to be elevating. What's going on?
There's just been a lot of influence from outside the state, and I think a lot of chefs are beginning to come back and trying to do something. I think in the last 6 or 7 years, really, the drive for chef-driven restaurants has taken hold, and downtown is just full of them. And there's a plethora of different chefs and restaurants that are local, that are really well done and driving the forces.
Well, let's start with your culinary inspiration. Is there a dish that's had some significance in your life?
I don't think there was a dish. I think most of mine comes from just how I was raised, doing a lot of hunting and fishing and natural and growing vegetables in gardens and just knowing that food, where it comes from and the balance of life and understanding that simple things make simple foods better and just kind of the basics of all that.
Is there a dish from your childhood that resonates with you? Is there a dish from your culinary journey?
The one that really resonated, I think, at the very beginning of all of this is wild game. I really love elk. I love venison, but there was an elk dish that I made back when I started that we used to use, and it had a smoked jalapeno, blackberry, demi-glaze, some really cool Duchess potatoes, and that just always resonated with me with like the strong power of the sauce and the gaminess and the earthiness of the meats.
Well, how'd you come up with it?
I actually didn't come up with that one. That one was by the chef that I was learning from at the time. I was really blessed to be under the wing of a very talented young chef who was very smart in terms of his culinary prowess and also his sauces. And it was really cool way to learn and start to come into my culinary journey with him.
And has that dish or the techniques around it or the handling of wild game, has that influenced you throughout your career now?
Absolutely. And I mean, even our new launch of Brownstone a few months ago, we have a elk osso buco with that actual smoked jalapeno demi-glaze on it.
From how many years ago?
20 years ago.
Wow. Where do you get elk?
There's two places. One of them is a local Utah farm, and then the other one comes from New Zealand.
New Zealand elk? Wow. Now, you can't buy from hunters, can you?
No, we're not allowed to do that.
Now, you grew up in the West. You grew up where? Montana?
Yep, grew up in Montana.
Tell me about that. What was that like?
Very humble beginnings, very simple, wrapped in nature. Like I said, lots of hunting, fishing, backpacking, hiking, skiing, you name it, we did it outside.
Small town? Presumably. I mean, the biggest town in Montana is not that big, so.
I was born in Billings, but was raised in Townsend, which was a very small town. When I was in 5th grade, we moved to Helena, the capital city. At the time was about 60,000 people.
Oh, you're in the metropolis.
Yeah, the big city.
How are you going to keep them down on the farm once they've seen Helena? What was the food influence in your childhood? Was it mom's cooking? Dad?
Mom and dad always cooked fresh. I think one of my big influences was when we were with our family and having grandma around. My grandma Ani always cooked very good meals and loved having family and incorporating the energy into the kitchen.
Was there an ancestral ethnicity to her food?
No, not at all.
So what would grandma make?
Well, I always remember making breakfast with grandma, starting the day in the kitchen with her and cooking and learning. And, Ani would take the time and the energy putting food out everyone could sit down with and everyone could start their day with, and always created this energy of togetherness. And that's one thing that I think has always driven me in the culinary world, is that togetherness of bringing people together and putting an energy behind it.
Are you a people pleaser?
I think so. I think we all are in this industry.
You have to be, don't you?
Yeah.
Because you ain't going to get rich.
We're not rich from this. We have to passionately love what we do and enjoy the chaos.
Why do you passionately love what you do?
I don't know why I love what I do. It's something I've always felt back to. There's times when I went away from the kitchen in my life and it just keeps coming back. There's an energy and a power to it that I love. I love walking the floor and talking to people, and I run food constantly in our restaurants.
Run food? You mean you take it to tables?
Yeah, taking it to the tables.
The owner, the executive chef doesn't do that a lot in most places, right?
Probably not as much as it should. It's something that I enjoy.
Why should he? or her?
I think it's important to see your people, to get out there. If you see someone take a bite of their food and they do a little dance because it was so good, like that feels good for me, but you can tell what it feels to them. And it really ties it in.
And what if they take a bite and they don't like it? Are you somebody who will say, what's wrong with that, and take the input?
Oh, absolutely. I love input. I love feedback. And we tell people that all the time, that we would love to hear, especially when, launching these new restaurants, it's very important to hear what people want. The restaurant is ours, but it's theirs also. If they don't like it, they're not going to come back.
How much stock do you put in what people say on social media? You could go crazy trying to respond to that.
You can. And reviews are some of the same way too online. You got to take it with a grain of salt. You got to listen. You got to respect it. But then you also have to know what you do and have faith in your driving force. And I know the food that we're putting up is quality. I know it's done right. Sometimes there's mistakes, but owning that is part of it. Social media is something that's really changed culinary, I think, in terms of worrying a lot about what people have to say just on a one-time diner. I don't take too much heed into that.
Okay, so let me back up. When last we left your life story, you were cooking with grandma. How young were you when you were cooking with grandma?
I would say like 6, 7 years old was when I was kind of starting.
Well, you were one of those kids standing on a stool next to grandma at the stove.
Yep. I remember when I was 12, I think was the first time I cooked an entire breakfast for about 12 people.
How'd you have 12 people for breakfast? What was the deal?
It was a holiday, so we had family together.
And what'd you make?
Eggs, bacon, potatoes, the whole works. And I remember putting it up and everybody was just, my mom still talks about that day, about how she could just see that day. It was like, wow, he really got that all together.
How come the first pancake always sucks?
I don't know. They're always flat, right?
You have to kill one before it comes out right. Anyway, okay, so at 12, you're catering the holidays. When did you say to yourself, I could do this for real. I could do this for a living?
Kind of a funny story. I met a chef on a chairlift at Alta in Utah.
Well, how old were you?
I was 19 at the time.
Going to college? Going to high school? What were you?
Going to college. It was my second year in college at the University of Utah. I was going for a business degree, but I met a chef and I was just talking to him, and a really passionate guy. And we just chatted the whole way up. And by the time I got to the top, he had mentioned that he was looking for an employee cook. They call it the Lil's cook.
Wait, what's the job?
It was an employee cook. So you had to do breakfast, lunch, and dinner for about 50 live-in employees at the lodge itself.
Oh, at the ski resort.
At the ski resort.
Gotcha.
And so by the time we got to the top of the chairlift, we were talking and he was mentioning that he has this position available. And I kind of said, well, I've never really professionally learned how to cook, but I love cooking and this would be a great opportunity. I also saw, a free season pass, 3 meals a day. I mean, every college kid's dream.
You a black diamond skier?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So is my wife. I'm blue-black at best. So that's a problem. I'll meet you at the bottom. Okay. So you have visions of free skiing in your mind. Did he hire you?
Yeah, he hired me, brought me on, and I got to learn the simple basics of I could only use the leftovers from the night service before, and I had to come up with 3 meals that day.
Well, did you get any instruction, or were you just in there kind of flailing around?
He gave me some direction, but then let me do the learning myself. He made me go find recipes and come up with stuff and make it. And at first, it was probably not as good as it could have been, but I started to learn and move, and I did that for the whole first season, and it was really fun. It was a really cool way to learn how to cook. Very creative.
And you didn't poison any of your fellow employees?
Not that I'm aware of.
How was the skiing that season?
Oh, skiing in Utah is the best that there is. It's incredible. It's one of my all-time passions.
The damn boots hurt too much. What resort was this?
That was at Alta. It was at the Peruvian Lodge right there at the base of Alta. It was a very creative way of learning to cook.
And we'll be right back.
So I started the first year as the employee cook, and then second year I worked into the prep cook position, onto the line, and then worked my way up full-time over there. And I was there for a total of 7 years.
Who was your mentor there?
Chef Carl Kelly. He was a great chef. He left there and ended up opening his own restaurant in Moab, the Bistro, and then now is retired, but we still do keep in touch here and there.
By the time you'd been there for multiple years, how had you found your cooking voice, your ethos for how you like to cook for people?
Yeah, I think I was just kind of learning that. I think what I found was that I just was good at it and it made sense. In my ADHD brain, it was very easy to stay constantly busy and doing different things and multitasking. And the best part about the Peruvian Lodge is it's where it blossomed. It's where everything finally settled in that, hey, I might be doing this for a little while. And then once I left there and made my way down into the city, and I ended up joining with the Fleming Steakhouse Corporation.
In Salt Lake?
In Salt Lake.
What'd you do for them? You were there for a long time, right?
I was there a total of 17 years with the steakhouse.
That's a chain based out of Utah, is it?
It's a chain that was based out of California at the time. and now is out of Florida. When we started, I believe Salt Lake was like the 11th or 12th restaurant in the company. And by the time I left, we were at 70.
Okay, so were you working for them out of Salt Lake, or did you have to go to California?
I was out of Salt Lake for the first 4 years. Then I was promoted. I started as a line cook, worked up to a sous chef, to the executive sous chef. After that, I was promoted to be an executive chef or chef partner in Summerlin, Las Vegas, to an existing restaurant that was already running but needed help. So I stepped in and did that for a few years. Then I became the regional executive chef, which was overseeing 5 states.
What are you overseeing as a regional executive chef? I mean, the menu is set from the home office, presumably. So what's your job there?
Operations, numbers, teaching chefs how to do, how to work, how to think. Really just a lot of overview stuff. It was kind of, I would consider it my master's degree time period in the restaurant world. It was learning the business side, operational side, training side. I did a lot of openings with them. I was on part of the culinary creation team of menu creation. So I had a lot of flexibilities. As I progressed through all my years, we kept going and going and going.
You opened a restaurant for them where? In São Paulo, Brazil?
Yeah, we got to be part of the first international down in São Paulo, Brazil.
I've never been to Brazil.
It was incredible. It was mind-blowing the size of São Paulo. I mean, it's one of the largest cities in the world. So you could see from our apartment 60 miles in every direction, and all you saw was city. It was mind-blowing. But the community we were in and where we were launching, it was a very small knit community. So lots of little chef-driven restaurants that were 12 or 15 seats. So it was really fun to go learn and see their culture and see what they did there. There's such a world there. There were so many people there. There was just little bits in culture in each of these restaurants. So you could eat in an African restaurant, you could go eat in a Portuguese restaurant, or you could go eat all over the place. It was really fun just to see these little driven, passionate shops that you could go into.
Well, the mom and pop joint is under assault here in the States financially, is it not?
Oh, it is so tough right now as a small business owner in the States. I mean, our commodities are up 12 to 14%. Our labor's up 10%. Our profit line is minuscule compared to what it used to be, which was already a very tough business to be part of.
You think people respect what it takes to serve them a restaurant meal? I mean, I was talking to another chef or restaurant owner, and he said his wife's in women's fashion and she sells expensive shoes. And he says to her, what happens when you raise the price? And she said, nothing. I still sell a whole bunch every day. And he says to me, if he raises chicken $4, there's a revolt.
It's hard because quality is one thing that we strive for. And quality products cost more money. And to put those quality products in the hands of a quality chef and his training and his coaching takes a lot of money.
Well, do you think people, we eat so much processed stuff. I'll be honest, I like Honey Nut Cheerios, but we eat so much processed stuff. And despite all the talk about local and organic, basically industrial produce, you think people have lost a sense of what good food should taste like?
I do. I think mediocrity has taken over the culinary world. And I think over the last 15 years, I think being simple and basic got accepted. And people just started to think that's just what all these restaurants were. And I think that's one of the drives that you see now with a lot of these chef-driven concepts or privately owned small businesses is that we're driving to put back quality food through quality people in front of someone.
How do you turn the public around? I mean, it drives me nuts when I see, I don't know if it's Applebee's or one of the chains advertises that they're your neighborhood bar. Well, no, the neighborhood bar that you're running out of business is my neighborhood bar. Why do people? I don't get it.
I think nowadays the drive for a good feeling, a good culture, a good crew that shows and puts out your product. I think all of that is what brings people to our little restaurants. And I think that's the energy that those big corporate chains lost. They were more worried about their bottom line. They're more worried about profit margins. They stopped caring about people. They stopped caring about the experience. And that was one thing that really pushed me away from the corporation after so many years was they stopped caring about the people.
The people they were serving or the people working for them?
All the above. A lot of it got to a point where the dollar is what mattered in being a publicly traded company. And I think that's what hurts some of these businesses is now they're just worried about bottom lines. They don't care that your labor is a little bit high because it's a slow season. Being a small business, we try to keep our people as happy as we can. And the hardest part is the ebb and flows of the business. There's your busy season, which our crew is very talented and streamlined, but I have to keep them happy in that off season. And so the ebb and flow of money goes back and forth and the belief in that they will continue to help me as long as I continue to help them.
Okay, so you burn out on the chain job after almost 2 decades. What'd you do?
I was a stay-at-home dad for 3 years. I raised my 2 little children.
Wait, hold on. Time out. What profession is your wife in?
My wife is a nurse practitioner in the pediatric ICU here in Salt Lake up at Primary Children's.
God bless her.
Yeah.
You said to her, sweetheart, I've been flying all over the place. I'm working for a corp. I'm tired of all this. How about I stay home and take care of the kids?
Yeah, it was her idea. She had found a job or had an interview and came to me one day when we're sitting in the hospital with our little daughter. And she said, how would you feel if I looked at an interview back in Salt Lake City? And I was like, oh, well, we've always wanted to get back to Salt Lake.
Where were you at the time?
We were in Dallas, Texas at the time.
And you say your daughter was in the hospital. Was she okay?
She is now. She was born very premature. She was born at 26 weeks.
So sorry.
It's all good. She's a little fighter and she's great. She's full of it now.
Okay, so you're in Dallas and your wife says, I got this job opportunity back in Salt Lake, and there you go.
And they were willing to pay for moving. And I was like, I'm ready to quit. And she's like, oh, are you serious? And it's like, yeah. So we did.
Back in a moment.
So I dropped the company after a big, long stint, and we moved the family back to Salt Lake. And I got to spend 3 wonderful years raising my children and making up for some of that time that I'd lost prior to that.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it was good for me. It was good for the soul.
What got you back into the biz?
Well, I was talking to a neighbor actually one day, and they were telling me that they have 5 kids and they eat out 4 or 5 nights a week, and because they just don't like cooking. So I came up with an idea. Well, since I'm staying at home with these kids and I'm already making dinner, why don't I make enough for the family next door? And then I had them pay for the groceries. Kind of made sense. And so I started doing that. And then another neighbor found out. So I branched into it, a second neighbor, and I started making a little bit of money on it. And then COVID actually hit about 3 months into this project, and my business, before I knew it, launched and was out the door. It was called My Wife's Kitchen.
This was meal delivery?
Meal delivery, made fresh, never frozen, delivered with a ready-to-eat instructions with like under 10 minutes of preparation. No cutting, no chopping. Everything was completed for you. Delivered to your door. I did 3 meals a week. And at my peak, I was doing a little over 30 families.
Wow. And how did that turn into going back to full-time restauranting?
It got me cooking again, which was the first and most important thing. It got me being creative again. It got me enjoying food again. It got me hearing from people and seeing their appreciation and their love of the food and how easy it made their lives and all that kind of stuff. And so that kind of just started snowballing a little bit. And then I started doing some private dinners in the private chef world and some tasting events and things like that. And that really allowed my creativity to start going again. And that really showed that passion was there, and I really was good at what I was doing, and I really enjoyed what I was doing. And then that led to one day I received a phone call from my business partner and longtime good friend.
It wasn't yet your business partner, right?
Not yet at the time. It was just me at the time. But he called me and said, hey, I have an opportunity coming in front of me, and I would only want to do it with you, so can we talk? And so we did. We sat down and we talked, and this is the creation of what became Felt Bar Eatery. There's 3 of us, our business partners in this one. One is the building owner, and then the other 2 is me and Rich Romney. Rich ran restaurants and was in the front of house side of things for a good 20 plus years also. We never worked together, but we always knew about what each other was doing, and we always stayed in touch. And this is the first chance we got to put something together and do it our way and really give it a go.
You put it together from the ground up. As I understand it, the 2 of you actually did a whole lot of the renovation yourselves?
Yeah, we sure did.
How'd that work out for you?
We did demo, rebuilt and built a bar, took out a kitchen.
And this is in a historic building, right?
It's in a historic building downtown, the Felt building. That's why we named it after it.
Hey, very creative, chef.
It was the building owner's, one of his only requests he had is because the original cafe in downtown Salt Lake was in the Felt building, in the downstairs of it. And so he really wanted it to kind of give homage to that. And so the idea behind Felt was to give energy to this old building and give something that would stick around and be here for years. But yeah, we did demo. And so we did it in 90 days. We did tear down, build out, menu design, training, and launched in a 90-day window.
Look, there's nothing riskier than opening a restaurant. Was it a success? Did it take a while? Did people jump on it? How'd it go?
It definitely took a little while to get our name out there.
Were you nervous during that little while?
Oh, the first year was terrifying financially. I mean, we had to go in debt really far just to stay afloat and to keep people there. But, we kept talking the talk of just doing the right thing. One of my big mottos is just good food done right. And we just really strive to do the right thing every day with a good crew and a good culture. And it's been a little over 2 years now, and Felt is absolutely crushing. It's, I think, one of the hottest spots in Salt Lake City. It's always got something going on. There's always a lot of creativity. We're changing menus constantly. It's just got a really fun vibe. It's really just energized.
And no small point, your work there as executive chef got you a nomination, a finalist nomination for the 2026 James Beard Award Best Chef in the Mountain Region, correct?
Humbly, yes, absolutely. It's something I've never thought of even being in that conversation about.
What is it that you do there? What is the culinary ethos of the place? What are you promising me as a diner?
We have a little bit of something for everyone. We have creativity, fresh, energized food. There's always something. There's different flavors, different palates, different cuisines, but it's always going to be bright. It's always going to be full of flavor. I'm definitely not someone who shies away from flavor. I think a lot of the world, for like we were talking earlier about being kind of a mundane, is people are afraid to make things spicy or things to make them sweet. Or we are unapologetic when it comes to our menu. We want it to be what it should be, and we drive that into Felt.
Well, let's talk about some of the dishes. I'm looking at some things that the critics certainly liked. When you were named Best Restaurant in Salt Lake City by Salt Lake Magazine?
We're one of the best. Yep. There's a small group of them there. You're all considered the best. But yeah, 2 years in a row. We were named in 2024. We'd only been open for 4 months. We got named the restaurant to watch, which means you're the up and coming. And then the year after that, we won Best Restaurant.
And one of the writers involved in that declared that you were serving best crab cakes in the state, a Thai green curry supporting lobster ravioli, elk burger, and tartars as some of what you do so well. Tell me about those crab cakes. You're landlocked. It's not like you can go out back and harvest Utah crabs. So what are you doing with crab cakes?
We're keeping it simple, real good quality blue lump crab, jumbo lump crab, keeping it very little breading, very little mixer. I mean, when you eat a crab cake, it's all crab. I think you're referring to Stuart, he's a good friend of ours at Gastronomics.
Oh, the guy who wrote that?
Yeah.
Oh, so the fix was in.
He loves it. He raved about those crab cakes when we started making them.
You're doing an elk burger. That seems like a throwback to your youth.
Yeah, that's an homage to the back to youth. We get a farm-raised elk, comes out of Idaho for that. We grind it up locally. We're the only restaurant in Utah that serves this burger. We cover it in a earthy curry dusting spice mix that we make, and then top it with a mushroom duxelle and goat cheese.
What's a mushroom duxelle?
Sauteed mushrooms, garlic. We use a little bit of burnt rosemary.
Why burn the rosemary?
It just gives a whole nother depth to it. Takes those oils and just changes them up.
You got lard in there too, don't you? Or pork fat in some form?
A little pork fat goes into the burger because elk is such a lean meat. You need to have something to fatten it up. And so we do a little bit of pork fat in there to give that richness to it. It's an incredible burger, and it's an homage to my growth, to my childhood.
Topped with peppered bacon, it says?
Yeah, we get a Heber bacon from local up here in Heber, extra thick, peppered. It's incredible. It took them 4 times to get it thick enough for me because I had to keep wanting it more.
It's interesting you say you got that's local and the elk's from Idaho, and I made a joke about you guys being landlocked. How much of what you do is based on local ingredients, and how much do you just say, well, the best of something is from someplace else?
I think the best of something comes from somewhere. In terms of the fish, like we have lots of raw fish and cooked fish and everything like that. The most important thing isn't being next to an ocean. It's being next to an international airport that can fly in every day. And that's where the world really is. It's funny to hear people say this all the time. They're like, oh, well, I'm from California and the seafood's better here. And you're like, it's the same fish that flew in from New Zealand or the fish that came from Hawaii. It's just near the airport. So we have lots of fish here. It's very easy to get really high quality, good fresh fish. And we do it almost daily.
What's your favorite on that menu?
Oh, man, you're not allowed to ask chefs that. You should know that by now.
Okay.
Okay. If you're going to go to Felt and you're going to have something, you're going to start with the torched sable fish.
What? Who?
Torched sable fish.
Okay. What's sable fish and what's torched?
Sable fish is black cod. It's a farm-raised fish that we get out of New Zealand.
You like that New Zealand stuff.
They do it right out there. These fish are not held in pens. They're held in a bay. So they actually live naturally. They swim naturally. It's incredible. It's super cool. I prefer to torch it because it's got so much, it's like a buttery fish. It's got a lot of fat to it, a lot of oils to it.
So you're using like from shop class, the blowtorch. Okay.
Yeah, little hand torch. It sits on a cucumber and wasabi puree. So you got a little bit of that tinge to, the sushi realm with a little bit of the wasabi, but not on the plate. We do a mango miso puree on there. So that's where I would always start. Our ribs, we have some Korean style ribs that are really good. Lots full of flavor, fall off the bone. Our wings are some of the best wings in the city. It's got a buffalo bourbon buffalo sauce on it, some goat cheese, got some whiskey pickled jalapeños on there. It's got a lot of twists and turns. I think it felt the biggest thing is that it's approachable food for everyone, but there's definitely little nuances and twists and turns that we take you on.
And recently you guys opened another place, Brownstone 22. How's that different?
Brownstone 22, well, the fun part is that we allow the building itself to kind of speak to what we were going to do. And when we got into this Brownstone spot, it just screamed East Coast Oyster Bar for the history of the building, the look of the building, the feel of it, the way it's laid out. So that's kind of where we went when we did Brownstone, is we launched into an East Coast Oyster Bar and Martini Bar is kind of the vibe that we're going with that.
And is there, this sounds condescending, I don't mean it that way. Does Salt Lake City want a lot of oysters?
We sell so many oysters. At Felt, we sell about 200 to 300 a week. When we launched here, we were doing 200 a night.
Whoa. At Brownstone?
At Brownstone.
Where do you get them?
We do West Coast oysters predominantly, mostly British Columbia, that neck of the woods up there.
It's an overnight transport.
Yep, overnight, coming in fresh all the time.
You're doing, according to something I read, you're doing your sauces differently, though.
For the oysters?
Well, yeah, for anything, like cocktail sauce with fish sauce or...
Oh, yeah. We have little twists on everything. That's something that I pride myself with, is that we do things that a little bit different. It's not your traditional stuff. It may sound traditional, like a seafood tower or an oyster.
And how do you make those non-traditionally?
Well, Felt, we have a old-fashioned mignonette. So using bourbon, Luxardo cherry, and orange. And kind of fun, as we switched it over here at Brownstone, we did a Sazerac mignonette to kind of play off the fun of that.
Sazerac being that, I guess Sazerac, is it bourbon?
Yeah, it's a very boozy cocktail. And I think it's really fun to kind of mix things up and play with that and have some fun with it.
You're also buco at Brownstone. That's a twist on the classic. How's that different?
We slow braise it. It's incredibly tender.
But you're not doing it with veal, are you? You're doing elk.
Yeah, New Zealand elk. And that's kind of a play again back to my childhood of what I grew up with, but also a good classic dish that needed to be spun a little bit. And we're doing that with a parsnip puree underneath with roasted carrots.
Does parsnip have any flavor?
Oh, absolutely. Especially when you mix it with a little Yukon.
A little Yukon?
Yukon potatoes.
Oh, okay, fine.
I love parsnips. Parsnips are sweet and earthy. And when you're going against that dish, it really helps just give a sweetness to the level. And then, we did that, like I said earlier, we do that smoked jalapeno and blackberry demi-glaze on it. Just brings the punch, brings the flavor. It's an incredible dish. It's one of our top sellers by far.
Are you making your own pasta?
Absolutely. Everything's made in-house.
Why make your own pasta? Can I tell the difference, really?
100% you can tell a difference. Not only that is, pasta is, as we were talking earlier about the overproduction of foods and overprocessing, pasta is simple. There's 5 ingredients and we spin them up a little bit, but doing a fresh pasta really just has to be done, especially at the level of restaurant that we like to portray to be at and serve food at. It's got to be done.
How do you define the level of your restaurant? I assume fine dining is the term.
No, I don't think fine dining. I think fine dining's kind of lost its way a little bit.
How? How has fine dining lost its way?
For the most of the general public, I think fine dining has always been the white tablecloth, old school steakhouse, those kind of feels. I think that stuff's kind of gone. Obviously, you've got your high-end Michelin and things like that. Those are fine dining, but I would say that most of Americans don't eat at places like that or never even experience a place like that. The goal with what we've done at both our restaurants is to create high-quality food, high-level execution, but in an approachable way that anyone can come in. You can come in your flip-flops and your shorts and eat next to a guy who's they're having an anniversary dinner.
Hopefully with his wife or husband there with him.
So. Hopefully.
You dropped out of the biz once. How do you maintain your sanity in this very crazy business?
Oh, man. I think loving what we do, believing in what we do. People have asked me before, what gets you out of bed every day? It's my people. It's the people that believed in me. It's the people that drank my Kool-Aid and helped me launch the restaurants, that I told them our dream, told them our goal, and they believed in it. Even when times were tough and it was slow and we weren't making much money, they stuck with us. That's what gets me out of bed. It's to do right, to make it right, and to succeed for them. We have almost 60 employees now, I think, between the two restaurants. And that's a lot of families that are relying on us to do the right thing every day.
I don't want to get political, but among those families, do you have staff that are now afraid of coming to work because of the immigration situation in the U.S.?
Yes and no. Yes, there is a concern. We are very strong in the fact that we stand behind our people and that our people are good people that are just raising families and doing the right thing. I think that in the culinary field itself, there has been a very big change over the last 5 or 6 years, and especially in the last 2 or 3, is that a lot of our Hispanic community that used to be a huge part of our kitchens is not there anymore.
Because of fear?
Fear, and they've gone other places or they're working other jobs that are more protected and just different areas and elements. When we were launching Brownstone, we were doing interviews, and I would say we only had 2 or 3 out of 100 that were Hispanic. And that's a big shift in culture.
What a shame.
And they're great people, family driven, and just want to work hard. And that's what we're looking for. We look for the right attitude.
Third restaurant on the horizon, maybe?
I got to get this one off the ground first. Yeah, I think there's always a dream down the road of continuing with this energy and passion that we've got. Me and my business partner have got great ideas and work well together. And the energy we've created within just a short window really shows to the level of quality and execution that we do. So yeah, I don't see us stopping anytime soon.
What about the industry? Sick? Troubled?
No, I think the industry is going... Well, I can only speak from Salt Lake because that's what we're doing here. I think the culture and the culinary field is strong. I think we just need support from those above us. In the government, I think that a lot of, in Utah especially, there's a lot of restrictions and extra taxation and things that really kind of affect our business more than I think they realize it does. But I think nationally and globally, supporting these small businesses is what's really crucial, because if we didn't have restaurants, it would be utterly devastating to the communities.
Well, Chef, congratulations again on the James Beard nomination.
Thank you.
And congratulations on your successes. And here's to more in the future. Thank you very much for taking the time to chat with me. It's been a delight.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate the time.
Travis Herbert on Culinary Characters Unlocked. I'm David Page, and I'll see you next time.